Thank you so much for being with us right here on Nation tonight, this evening. And let's begin with the top story that we are tracking at 9. A special NIA court today sentenced Kashmiri separatist leader Yasin Malik to life imprisonment in a terror funding case. Now, 10 lakh rupees fine and 2 life imprisonment sentences were handed over to Malik days after he pleaded guilty to all the charges. Now, in its order, the court said that financing is the backbone of any operation, and that includes terrorist activities. The court underlined that funds that were used to create unrest were under the guise of public protest. Now, remember, Yasin Malik had pleaded guilty in the matter earlier, and in the previous hearing, he in fact told the court that he was not contesting the charges leveled against him, including terror activities or raising funds for it, criminal conspiracy as well as sedition. The quantum of punishment for the offences in the terror funding case was pronounced amid high security at the Patiala House Court in the national capital.
कई धाराओं में सजा सुनाई है, उसमें 121 आईपीसी और 17 यूएपीए के अंदर उन्होंने उम्र कैद की सजा सुनाई है.
Maximum sentence could have been death sentence.
Maximum sentence, but लेकिन court has also looked into the past antecedent and also the probability of the reformation of any of the accused whenever any sentence is decided.
Total जुर्माना कितना होगा लगभग?
Total जुर्माना मेरे हिसाब से जो देख के समझ में आ रहा 11 के आसपास आएगा.
11 लाख के आसपास.
हाँ जी.
My colleague Nilashish now joins me live on the broadcast. Nilashish, it was an action-packed day in the court, and of course a death penalty was sought by the NIA against Yasin Malik, and a life sentence has been given to him. Just take our viewers through what all happened through the day today.
Well, absolutely. When the court took up the matter for hearing in terms of quantum of sentencing, the NIA did press for maximum punishment, that is death penalty, saying that there needs to be a deterring form of punishment that comes in. However, the fact that Yasin Malik had pleaded guilty in a way seemed that he would look for some sort of leniency. And as far as the court order is concerned, clearly there was a degree of leniency given. But however, when we come to the judgment as such on the sentencing, as far as waging war against the government is concerned, which is under Section 121 of the IPC, he was sentenced rather to life imprisonment. And also the other major charge, which is terror funding, which comes under Section 17 of the UAPA, he was also sentenced to life in jail. So as far as Yasin Malik is concerned, he will be spending the rest of his natural life behind bars. But also, as far as the court order is concerned, it deals with a number of aspects, primarily that which is to do with Yasin Malik's contention today, that that he or his organization has not been a part of any illegal activity in 28 years. He said that he'd been following the Gandhian way of life. But in terms of that argument, the court has in its order, which we have accessed, stated very clearly that he betrayed good intentions of the government. He took a different path to orchestrate violence in the guise of a political struggle. Now, it was noted that Yasin Malik claimed that he had followed the Gandhian principle of nonviolence and spearheaded a peaceful nonviolent struggle. However, says the court, the evidence on the basis of which charges were framed and to which Yasin Malik has pleaded guilty, those speak otherwise. He went on to say the judge went on to say very clearly that the entire movement was a planned violent movement and a large-scale violence ensued from that situation. The judge said that we must observe that the convict cannot invoke the Mahatma and claim to be his follower, because Mahatma Gandhi's principle was no violence should take place, however high the objective might. It was stated that financing is the backbone of any activity, including terror. And in this situation, the judge said that it is his considered opinion that it is high time that it is recognized that terror funding is one of the gravest offenses and must be punished more severely.
Absolutely. Nilashish, thank you so much for joining us with all those details there, and a story that dominated the headlines ever since Yasin Malik was brought to court today in the national capital, the Patiala House Court, and then the quantum of sentence was pronounced. In fact, the NIA, like my colleague Nilashish was just about mentioning, had sought for death penalty. We, of course, had continued to bring you all the reactions that were to do with the death penalty that was sought by the NIA against Yasin Malik. However, the court gave him a life sentence. That is the latest that we are bringing to you. A life sentence there for Yasin Malik. He would be back to the Tihar Jail, the jail number 7, where he is in solitary confinement. Those details, of course, also are coming in. But what is the situation really in the valley after this sentencing? For that, I am now joined by my colleague Sahil on the broadcast. Sahil, we are getting reports that restrictions are likely to be imposed in Kashmir tomorrow. What do you see on ground? Any particular official word about it?
Yes, so far there is no official word about it, but the sources in Jammu and Kashmir police has told, in fact, us that there will be some amount of restrictions tomorrow, because we have seen earlier today, in fact, in the evening, there are some protests taking place in Maisoma area of Srinagar. In fact, the downtown area of Srinagar, including Lal Chowk and Maisoma, today also observed a shutdown. So after this decision, after the court verdict, security agencies here in Kashmir Valley apprehend that there could be some disturbance to law and order. So, as a precautionary measure, there will be some restrictions tomorrow. This is what we are being told by sources in Jammu and Kashmir police. In fact, late in the evening, mobile internet was in fact suspended in Srinagar and other parts of Kashmir Valley. Uh, this step also has been taken to ensure that the law and order remains intact and it's not disturbed by the anti-social elements or the anti-national elements, because security forces are regularly getting these inputs that the people sitting across the line of control are trying to fuel unrest in Kashmir Valley, and so keeping that thing in sense, security forces are taking no chance to ensure that the land order remains. In fact, the situation in Kashmir Valley remains peaceful. We have also seen earlier today security forces making adequate measures. In fact, deployments in sensitive areas of Srinagar city were made early today to ensure that no such event takes place. In fact, the security forces had put in use the drone cameras to monitor the situation in downtown area of Srinagar. As of now, barring one incident that took place in Maisoma area of Srinagar where Yasin Malik resides, rest of the Kashmir is peaceful and normal. And although there was partial shutdown in Kashmir Valley, especially in Srinagar city, but the major areas of Kashmir continued with normal business today.
All right. Sahil, thank you so much for joining us with all those details. In fact, I was just about talking about all those political reactions that have come in regarding the sentencing of Yasin Malik. Let's take a look at all of that.
इस प्रकार के जो दरिंदों को जिन्होंने 30 साल में तबाही की है, इससे ज़्यादा सख्त सज़ा की ज़रूरत थी। और ख़ास करके बहुत से ऐसे केस पेंडिंग्स हैं। ये तो टेरर फंडिंग का मामला है, लेकिन जो अपहरण, हत्या, इस प्रकार के जो कई इन पर केस पेंडिंग, उसमें मुझे उम्मीद है कि आने वाले समय में इससे भी सख्त सज़ा इनको सुनाई जाएगी।
सर्वोच्च न्यायालय के निर्णय का हम सम्मान करते हैं। देश के एक जिम्मेवार नागरिक, जिम्मेवार पार्टी के प्रवक्ता होने के नाते जो भी सर्वोच्च न्यायालय ने मेरिट के आधार पर जो निर्णय दिया है उसका हम सम्मान करते हैं। और मैं ये कहना चाहता हूँ कि आज सर्वोच्च न्यायालय ने एक नज़ीर प्रस्तुत की है कि भले ही वो कितना ही बड़ा कोई भी व्यक्ति हो, अगर वो देश विरोधी गतिविधियों में सम्मिलित होगा तो हिंदुस्तान के कानून के तहत उसके खिलाफ कड़ी से कड़ी कार्रवाई की जाएगी। तो इस निर्णय का हम सम्मान करते हैं।
Separatism, yes. But separatism, the source of separatism has been the alienation, the neglect among the people. What is needed today is Government of India reaching to the people in general, particularly in Kashmir, so that some level of confidence is created.
And minutes after the court order the life sentence, in fact, the authorities in Delhi's Tihar Jail sat for a meeting to decide on the increased security for Yasin Malik and also to keep a close watch on him. In fact, Yasin is currently in solitary confinement at Tihar Jail's jail number 7. And now that the court, in its verdict, has given a life sentence to him, sources also suggest that Malik will be watched closely with CCTV cameras now. All right, getting you some breaking news inputs. Now, civilian has been shot in the Budgam district of central Kashmir. The woman has been identified as Amreen. She, in fact, is a television artist. Amreen was shot at. She has been brought to the hospital under very critical condition. And we've been also told that her nephew has also suffered injuries in the terror attack. My colleague Sahil is back with me on the broadcast. Sahil, we were just about talking about the situation in Kashmir Valley, and while there are restrictions that stand imposed, there is a terror attack, and in this case, a television artist has been shot at by the terrorists, and I believe her nephew has also suffered injuries.
Yes, in fact, this shootout took place a short while ago in Chadura area, Budgam. In fact, Ishurpura is the village where this incident took place, where this television artist, who is now being identified as Amreen, but was shot at by terrorists. In fact, in this incident, her nephew has also suffered injuries. Now, this girl, Amreena Butt, has been shifted to Srinagar, and her condition is said to be critical. This incident is taking place exactly in the same area where a few days we have seen Kashmiri Pandit employee Rahul Bhatt was killed inside in his office. In fact, he was also killed in Chadura area, Budgam. So the event, this incident has in fact taken place in the same area. Although the location, there's a difference between the location, but the area is same, Chadura, where this incident has taken place. Now, security forces, we are being told, have cordon of the area, and they are looking for those attackers, and in a way trying to nab those attackers who fired upon this lady. She was very famous for making short videos on social media sites, including Facebook and Instagram. Now, after this incident, the security forces, we are being told, have launched a cordon search operation in the area.
All right, Sahil, very unfortunate incident. They're coming to light from the valley as a television artist, in fact, has been shot at by terrorists in the Budgam district of Kashmir. And the other unfortunate part is that her nephew also has suffered injuries in this attack by terrorists and currently in the hospital. Now, yet another jolt to the Congress party. Veteran Congress leader and eminent lawyer Kapil Sibal announced his resignation from the Grand Old Party. Not just this, Sibal also filed his nomination to the Rajya Sabha with Samajwadi Party chief Akhilesh Yadav by his side. The development comes just days after Congress's much-touted Nav Sankalp Chintan Shivir was held in Rajasthan's Udaipur to bring in structural reforms in the party. Now, while filing his nomination, Sibal revealed that he had quit the party on May 16th itself. Remember, this was the day just after the Chintan Shivir got over. And he will now be contesting the Rajya Sabha elections with support of the Samajwadi Party. Remember, Sibal was a part of the dissenters group in Congress, G23. He had been vocal with his criticism of the Gandhi family recently, which is believed to be the reason for the ultimate fallout.
Why should I give the world the reason as to why I'm no longer with the party? I've explained that in a communication that I sent to Mrs. Gandhi. She knows about it. And I don't do, remember, political parties are voluntary organizations, right? We're not, there's no employer-employee relationship. You can join a party, you can leave a party, you can resign from a party, you can be a member of a party. So as a voluntary organization, I don't have to give any reasons to anybody, and I've given no reason to anybody. I've chosen a different path for myself, and I'll go along with that. I have already made a public statement that I will never join the BJP, right? and also said that I will never join any other political party. That's a public statement I've made already. So I'm bound by that statement, and it's in that context that I said that I want to be an independent voice in Parliament, and therefore I'm grateful to Akhilesh ji, I'm grateful to the leadership of the Samajwadi Party, Shivpal ji, Azam Khan Sahab, all the other members, Ram Gopal ji, that they have given me this opportunity.
जिनको सदस्य बनाना है पार्टी को, बहुत जल्दी वो लोग नामांकन कर देंगे। आज कपिल सिब्बल जी ने किया है, वो समाजवादी पार्टी के समर्थन से राज्यसभा में जा रहे हैं। पहला नॉमिनेशन हुआ है। इस तरह पार्टी की तरफ से 2 और जा सकते हैं। बहुत जल्दी उनका भी नॉमिनेशन हो जाएगा। कपिल सिब्बल जी वरिष्ठ अधिवक्ता रहे हैं, देश के जाने माने केसेस उन्होंने लड़े हैं। वो लोकसभा में रहे हों, राज्यसभा में रहे हों, उन्होंने बात को अच्छी तरह रखा है ढंग से। पॉलिटिकल कैरियर भी है उनके पास। एज ए लॉयर बहुत सक्सेसफुल लॉयर हैं। तो हमें उम्मीद है कि देश में जो बड़े बड़े सवाल हैं, आज देश किस रास्ते पर है। आज बेरोजगारी सबसे ज़्यादा है, महंगाई रुक नहीं रही है, कानून व्यवस्था ध्वस्त होती चली जा रही है, हमारी सीमाएं सुरक्षित नहीं हैं, चीन लगातार हमारी सीमाओं के अंदर आ रहा है। तो इन तमाम बड़े बड़े सवालों पर मुझे लगता है कपिल सिब्बल जी समाजवादी पार्टी और अपने विचारों को रख पाएंगे।
Congress leader B.K. Harish Prasad has reacted on Kapil Sibal leaving the Congress party, saying that there is a thing wrong about this development.
They might have thought that his presence would be beneficial to the parliament. They might have brought him. I have nothing to say.
But he's a long-time colleague of Congress.
Well, a long time, many leaders have left. Nothing wrong. He has chosen his own way.
And Captain Abhilasha Barak has created history by becoming the first woman officer to join the Army Aviation Corps as Combat Aviator. The announcement was made on the official social media page of the Additional Directorate General of Public Information, and Captain Barak's achievement has been described as a golden letter day in the history of Indian Army aviation.
Is the first woman officer to join the Army Aviation Corps as an aviator. She transported to 2072 US flight.
And my colleague Srinjoy Chaudhary joins me live on the broadcast. Srinjoy, a golden letter day in the history of Indian Army aviation is what best describes this moment.
Yes, undoubtedly. It's not just one person. It's not just about one young woman getting combat colors. It's about it's a way of reaching out to all the little girls in India who want to fly, and now they have a choice. They can join the Indian Air Force and be a combat pilot, and a fighter pilot. They can join the Army and the Army Aviation Corps and be a combat pilot. So young people have a choice. They can do both. So that is a great advantage. As far as the Army Aviation Corps is concerned, it naturally has to be commended, because for the first time they have said, okay, we have found a suitable candidate, a lady who will be a very good combat pilot, and sure, she is now part of the entire process and has got colors. So that is the great moment, not just for one individual, but for all the young people in the country who want to be combat pilots, who have a choice. Now they can join the Air Force and be a fighter pilot. They can join the Army and then be a combat pilot as well in the Army Aviation Corps. So it's a big moment for the pilot, for her family. She's a daughter of an Army officer, retired colonel, who had joined. She had joined the Army Air Defense, AAD, and then she decided that, well, I want to fly. I want to be a combat pilot and change stream. So it's a big moment for the Army, for the pilot, and for the family, and for all the young people in India who now can look up to her.
Absolutely. Shinjoy, thank you so much for joining us with all those details there. A very, very important day, and of course, a big feather in Captain Abhilasha's cap there. With that, I'm slipping into a very, very short break, but not without giving you the image of the day. Pride of lions, in fact, roam in Gujarat's Somnath, and these are visuals that we are bringing to you from the Gir forest. An entire family of the lions were out, probably looking for water because of the heat. Remember, Gir forest is known for its population of the tigers and the lions, and these are beautiful visuals that we are bringing to our viewers before slipping into a very short break. Enjoy this and come right back.